The sound of a heavy-duty trash bag snapping open is something I'll never forget. It's a sharp, plastic crack that sounds like a door closing forever. My mother stood in the doorway of my bedroom, her arms crossed tightly over her chest, eyes cold and immovable. 10 minutes, Arya, she said, her voice devoid of the warmth it used to hold. I told you, as long as you're living under my roof, you follow my rules. You didn't. So now, you find a new roof. The rule I'd broken was simple. I had dared to take a promotion at a local tech firm instead of quitting to stay home and care for my younger brother, Leo, while she went on a 3-month self-discovery trip with her newest boyfriend. To her, my ambition was a betrayal of my duties as a daughter. To me, it was the only ladder out of the cycle of chaos she had spent her life building. I didn't argue. I had learned long ago that trying to reason with her was like trying to catch the wind. I stuffed my life into 2 black bags, my laptop, my degrees, a few changes of clothes, and the small jewelry box my grandmother had left me. As I dragged those bags down the hallway, the plastic scraping against the carpet, Leo watched from his room. His eyes were wide with a mix of guilt and terror, but he didn't say a word. He knew better than to cross her. My mother didn't even look at me as I passed. She just pointed toward the front door. As I stepped onto the porch, the deadbolt clicked shut with a finality that echoed in my chest. Then, the porch light flickered off, plunging me into the dark. It was 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I had exactly $412 to my name. The first few weeks were a blur of survival and silent tears. I lived out of the back seat of my aging sedan, parking in well-lit grocery store lots where the security guards were too tired to chase me off. I'd wake up at 5 a.m., my limbs stiff and shivering, and head to a 24-hour gym. I used their showers to scrub away the scent of homelessness before putting on my one-ironed blazer. I lived on protein bars and the free coffee in the office break room, becoming an expert at looking like I had my life together while my entire world was tucked into a trunk. Spite turned out to be a more powerful fuel than I ever imagined. While my mother sent me occasional texts, not to check if I was alive, but to demand I send her money for the stress I'd caused, I was working 12-hour shifts. I took every overtime opportunity and taught myself coding languages on library computers during my lunch breaks. 6 months in, that promotion turned into a lead developer role. A year later, I was headhunted by a firm that offered a signing bonus that felt like a winning lottery ticket. I didn't spend a dime on luxury. I saved every penny, driven by the memory of that cold porch. 2 years to the day after I was kicked out, I stood in the center of a sun-drenched living room. The floorboards were polished oak, and the windows overlooked a quiet, gated community. It wasn't just an apartment, it was a 4-bedroom house, and my name was the only one on the deed. I sat on my new sofa, soaking in the absolute silence. There were no screaming matches here. No demands for my paycheck. No threat of being thrown out. I was finally safe, protected by walls I had built myself. I had just poured my first glass of wine in my new kitchen when my phone, the new number I thought was private, began to vibrate incessantly. It was an unknown number, but the area code was a ghost from my past. I made the mistake of picking up. Arya? Is it true? It was my sister, Maya, her voice cracking with a desperation I hadn't heard in years. We're at the bus station. Mom lost the house. The bank took everything. Leo's been sleeping in a tent. Arya, we heard you bought a place. A big place. Please, you're the only one left. I looked at the high ceilings and the empty, pristine guest rooms. For a second, the old Arya, the one who wanted to fix everything, started to rise up. But then, I felt the phantom weight of those trash bags in my hands.